Are you tired of juggling multiple investment accounts and struggling to keep track of your portfolio's performance? Well, fear not. In this video, I'll show you how to use a portfolio app to efficiently manage and monitor your investments so you can make informed decisions and watch your wealth grow. If you like this content and you want to see more, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Or if you want to see hidden content that I don't normally post on any of my other socials, you can check out my Patreon. Links will be in the description. Let's get right into the meat of it. The first thing you're going to want to do is go into your app store and look up My Stocks Portfolio. It should be something similar to the icon you see on screen. I'm not sure if Apple has this, but I'm pretty sure it would. No, I'm not sponsored by My Stocks Portfolio. I'm just using it as a source of reference for the education of this video. Once you get past the thank you for downloading screen, you should see a bunch of stocks and exchanges on the screen. What I like to do is normally delete all of this. Unless you plan on watching them or you actively have stocks in it, there's almost no reason to have this on here. Now you have three different tabs at the top. You have quotes, holdings, and details. I'll get into what holdings and details are later. Right now I'm going to show you how the quotes feature works on here. So what you're going to want to do is type in a symbol. What this means is any type of stock, they usually have a shortened or abbreviated title in order to identify it easier. Like Alphabet is considered Google, you would type GOOG and you would find Alphabet. In this case, we're going to be looking for Microsoft. As you can see, Microsoft pulled up and you have the opportunity to track a transaction. That's not something we're going to do right now, so I'm going to leave that alone. Going back into the quotes section to add a new one, we're going to try again with Apple. This time, instead of trying to track a transaction, we're instead going to click on the summary of it. As you can see, by hitting the summary, it gives you the active price, some news, advertisements of course, etc. What it also gives you is the timeline of how the stock's been doing over the past couple days, months, or even years, or even the entire timeline since, well, whenever the stock was posted onto the stock market. If you look in the top right corner, you should see two options, a plus sign and a notification bell with a plus sign. If you click on the notification bell, you're going to have to set it up with your settings. Here's a quick little tutorial of how to do that in case you didn't know how. By clicking again on that notification bell with the plus in it, it'll give you the option to check on the stock if it's doing more than a certain price, less than a certain price, equal to, etc, etc, etc. You can also add notes on top of this for in case you have something in mind that you want to say. Now, pressing the plus button without the notification bell that sits right next to it will give you the option to add it to your portfolios. I clicked on the My Portfolio, which is my test portfolio for the purpose of this video. If you see now, when you back all the way to the start of the screen, on the quotes screen you should see that the Apple ticker is right there, which shows that I should be watching it, but it does not have any information if I bought it or anything. The next tab we have here is the holdings. This is a very important tab. This is where you really will track all of your investments and anything you have bought or sold within that time. Just like the quotes tab, in order to add a stock, you're going to have to hit the plus sign. From here, just like before, type in your symbol. For this demonstration, we're going to use a very controversial stock. Now, in order to add it to your holdings, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to hit track a transaction. What that's going to do is open up the buy or sell screen, which you can choose whichever or you need, and then you're going to post your amount of shares that you have. It doesn't have to be active to this very moment. You can set it earlier back in time to whenever you bought them, or say you got a discount on whatever type of stock or thing that you have, you can put it in here. You also have the options to trade off of Forex, cash, and unlisted stocks or items that wouldn't normally be on the stock market, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to ignore those. The price per share would be the amount that each share cost when you bought the shares, not the amount that they cost right now. So let's say I had 10 shares and they were $5 when I bought them. It may be that they are $100 now, which means that I obviously made some profit. Then again, they may be $5 a share when I bought them and only $3 now, which means that I would be losing a profit. Whether it hurts to see, you're not going to want to lie to yourself here. For the demonstration of this video, I used a bunch of outrageously ridiculous test numbers just to get a demonstration. I also set it earlier back in time to show that you have the option to do that. You also have the choice of some other options here, like withdrawing cash from your portfolio or any type of commissions that were made on the sale. But for the purpose of this video, again, I'm not going to be doing that. You also have the ability to test exchange rates, which is a neat feature in case you bought in another country's currency. But again, for the purpose of this video, that is not something I'm going to be showing. The notes feature here is a very useful option to have, especially because when you're buying or selling things, it's important to note what you have or what you're buying or selling, or any other type of trivial thing that you want to note on there. So for the purpose of this video, I put in the test just to let you know that it is active and something that you should use. Just to give a quick visual what the other options like Forex and cash and the unlisted look like, I just scroll through them. Now that we have our first stock in here, you can see it shows up in our holdings, and we have a bunch of different things to look at. First of all, you can see the stock name itself sitting at the top right under the ticker. Right under that is the price that the stock is currently at right at this moment. Right under that should show the amount of which you bought it at. So, since I used the test, I bought it at $4.50 for 10 shares, quote unquote. That would show that I have a gain of about 25 cents per share. If you look at the unrealized at the bottom, that will show the total amount of money compared to what you may have gained or lost. I'll show that in an example later on how it can stack. Under the value cost side, you should see two different numbers there as well. What you should see is the total amount of shares combined and the value of that in real time. And then under that would be the total amount of shares combined as one single price when you bought it. So if I bought 10 shares at $4.50, then I bought them for $45. But since they're worth 25 cents a share, technically that would mean that I have a gain in profit, which it shows with the $2 and some change. Now we're going to try adding another stock. This time I'm going to use something that's important to have in every portfolio. At least I think so, because you never know what can happen with your type of government or your currency. Especially if you live in the United States, you should be really worried in getting your hands on this. Commodities are listed on the stock market, but they do not work the same way. So, do your research on commodities like gold and silver before you try and buy in something like this. Bitcoin also works differently and is known for a different thing than what gold and silver does. So, do your research on that if you choose to do that. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm just simply showing you how to access your portfolio and use it here today. Now, I'm going to give myself some outrageous numbers, yet again for the purpose of this test. Coin collectors usually typically mark some type of plastic or whatever on their coins, so it's usually easy to tell what type of date the coin has on it. For somebody that's been collecting a long time, as you can see, they'd probably make a good return with something like this. That being said, on paper it still looks the same as it would a stock, so you could still see your returns through the portfolio. Alright, now, as you can see at the bottom, our unrealized returns look way different than what you're seeing at the top. So let me go over this just so you understand it. Now you've added two different stocks in your holdings, meaning you've bought two different types of stocks. Obviously I've listed them in the past, so they've either been inherited, or you paid for them and you just didn't mark them yet. You can of course adjust these values and go back and edit them and do whatever you want to them, but this is how it should look if you're doing it right. Anytime you sell an item, you should mark it off there too, so you know how much you've lost or gained within the sale. Again, at the bottom it shows you an unrealized return of all of your assets combined into one. So, with the whole gold thing added onto the AMC, if I were to buy gold for $500 and that AMC stock of 10 shares for $45, now I spent $545 of my own money. But with the way the stock market has shaped up, it would look that I'd gain about $2,048, which is quite literally about $1,500 plus a little bit of change there worth of my money, which is a pretty good investment. This is also showing that gold retained its wealth pretty well. Just something to think about, because if you're looking at your US dollar and the wealth that it retains, I'd be watching that. Now one last thing, you should see right next to the unrealized on the right corner, there's something that says currency default. If you click on that, you have the options to choose to put your portfolio in the currency that is defaulted in your country. So for me in the United States, that would be the US dollar. You could change that to whatever country you want. They have quite a list of countries there. You also have the option, which I think is a really neat one, to have your portfolio display the different types of stocks in the currency which you bought it. So say you bought a Canadian stock in Canadian currency, well then it would show up that way. With that being said, it's really just that easy to manage your money through a portfolio app such as this one. You could also do it online. If you need any other help understanding wealth, managing your money, or managing your portfolio, check out my other videos for more information. Make sure to leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, or even check out my Patreon for content that I don't normally post everywhere else.
Taxpansion.